to the greenhouse. We're on the other side of the first May bank holiday and had a lovely walk yesterday. I love this time of year when the bluebells are out, the wild garlic is out. I just love it. So we had a lovely walk, and now I'm back to work today, and we are into marking season. So teaching's finished, but well, undergrad anyway, and so I'm just marking, but it does mean I'm working from home, so I can sort of nip out and do little jobs and in between marking when it gets a little bit too much. It's not my favourite part of the job, I have to say. So I'm in the greenhouse right now. I'm heading up to the plot in an hour or two with Mark, because our plot neighbour, or my plot neighbour, Jim, has some bushes on his allotment that he wants to get rid of, and asked if we would like them. He did mention this to me before, and he said there were blueberries but with stones in. And I have my selection of blueberries anyway, so I wasn't overly keen and I didn't show too much enthusiasm. But he mentioned it again the other day when we were down there, what I was down there for the other day. So we did do, not just come out walking on bank holiday, but I did do some work at the allotment, and I put in all my main crop potatoes. Very happy to have put in all those potatoes now. A lot of my allotment space is now taken up with potatoes. But, you know, everyone tells you when you first get an allotment, grow what you like to eat. Potatoes. Eat those all the time. But I guess they also are relatively cheap at the supermarket. Anyway. Yes, so we were at the plot, and Jim was there, and he said about these bushes again, and he's going on about them being blueberries, and then he says the variety is Saskatoon, and I'm like, oh, okay. So when I got back and I looked that up, Saskatoon isn't a blueberry, although sometimes it's called the new blueberry, but it is a type of berry that resembles a blueberry, but it has perhaps an almost almondy taste. I don't know, I've never tasted one. This is what I hear or read. And it has lots of pips in it, but they're edible. Because I was a bit like, do I want something that's a small berry that's going to have a big stone in? You kind of go break your teeth on it and have to spit it out or whatever. You know, like the cherries that sometimes you get, and like the actual amount of flesh on the cherry is barely anything. It's all stone. Anyway, long story short, yes, I do want these bushes, and there are 7. So Mark and I are going to split them between us, I think. And there is also a jostaberry. And I have a jostaberry in the garden. Turns out that it is the baby of Jim's jostaberry. There you go. So I bought that jostaberry at the allotment open day sale last year. And bless Jim, it came with a, what do you call it? Oh, I just can't think of it. I'll write it when I've remembered it. But plastic coated sheet all about the jostaberry and how to look after it and everything. Super. So anyway, yeah, he took cuttings off of that bush and sold them at the allotment sale, and I had bought one, and it's doing very well in my garden. But now I can get the mama plant and put it on my plot, so that's very exciting. Anyway, so Mark says he's going to finish work, and then we're going to go down there and see if we can dig up these bushes. Jim also gave me a grapevine, which was very kind of him. So I planted it in the ground, whether it's in the right place or not. It was full of red ants when I took it out the pot, so I put it in water and let it sit in there for a while, and that seemed to get rid of most of them. I don't know if when you move something that has ants in, those ants like set up a new colony, or if they just sort of like, oh, we lost our home, and sort of dissipate and die. I don't know. I guess I could Google it. But I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to sow some sweet corn, because now is the time to sow practically everything and anything. And I feel I'm a bit behind, but I keep saying that, and yeah, I'm really not. This is the 2nd of May. And I did notice on the packet of sweet corn it said to sow in May, so I'm right on time with my sweet corn. Other things I'm going to do this week: pumpkins, courgettes, cucumbers I haven't done yet. and beans. I need to get some beans in. Have put some more peas in. Now, where I put the peas in, I took the bronze fennel out, and I found what I think are vine weevils. So I'm going to stick some carrots in the ground. This is apparently what you do. Cut up some carrots, stick them in the ground, leave them a few days, take them out and see how many vine weevils are in there to know the extent of your problem. Anyway, I didn't plant carrot seed, which was my plan in this space that I'd cleared from the bronze fennel. Instead I put peas in there. I don't know if vine weevils also like peas, but they certainly like carrots and potatoes. And parsnips, I assume. I did have parsnips in that bed last year, at the other end of that bed, and they were fine. They had no problems. Anyway, we're going to discover the extent of that problem, and then I might have to get some nematodes or something. Any advice is more than welcome. But sweet corn. So I have 3 varieties. The one I did last year, which was the first time I'd ever grown sweet corn, which is the mini pop sweet corn. So a baby sweet corn, which is, there we go, super cute. And I planted it just there in the flower bed, which wasn't a flower bed last year, it was the corn bed. And it did okay. Some came up. I did the grid pattern, so they did fertilise, and I certainly got a few. Not a huge amount, made a couple of stir fries, but so satisfying, so amazing to grow baby sweet corn. So I'm doing baby sweet corn again. Now I did, although this is, oh yeah, of course it's open because I've been soaking the seed, which I'll tell you about in a moment. This one is new for this year then. It's called sweet corn. It's ambrosia. It's called sweet corn, obviously. It's called ambrosia, but it is an F1. I don't quite know why I picked an F1, but that's what I've got. Oh, the mini pop is F1 as well. Are lots of sweet corn F1? The other one is not an F1 because it's real seeds. This is organic special Swiss sweet corn. First new open pollinated corn to be bred in Europe in modern times. Okay, now it does say it needs to be at more than 18 Celsius to germinate, and it will just rot instead if planted in cold conditions. Starting modules and in May. So I'm going to follow that advice for all 3 varieties. And but in addition, I've been soaking the kernels. So here are the real seed ones. So there's a wrinkly little kernel. I've done 20 of each. Well, I think sweet corn can be a bit difficult to germinate, which is why I've soaked it. So I'm doing 20 in the hope that I get like half of that. I've soaking for over 24 hours now, which I think is enough. Now I know some people germinate them in paper towel, and so put them on a warm windowsill in wet paper towel and wait to see which ones shoot. I'm not going to do that because I feel like I'll just forget about it and will waste the kernels. But I have soaked. Okay, so they're going to go in the root trainer. So this has been freed up now that the broad beans are all out. There are 40 cells in here, so I'm going to put all the big corns in here, and then the baby corn. Oh, I've got toilet rolls. I might put the baby corn in the toilet rolls. I'm not sure I've got 20 though. Well, let's get started and see how we get on. the mini pop look different. They're not as show you a proper one. They're not as gnarly. They look more like a regular popcorn kernel. There we go. So as with the others, I'm just going to push them down with my chopstick so that they are about as deep as they are big. Probably a little bit deeper. Right, and just cover them over. Make sure they've got good contact. Oh, I've lost where the actual toilet rolls are in this one now. Oh well, I'm sure it'll all be fine. Right, I'm going to give those a water, and then they can stay in the greenhouse for now because it is currently 21 degrees in here. But this evening I will put them indoors, probably in the propagator. So I need to turf out the zinnias that are in there and put these in, I think. Yeah, okay, that's the plan. How long will they take to germinate? Doesn't really say. Oh, 7 to 21 days. Okay, that's one job done. Sweet corn ticked off. Ah, that was a good job done. Now, just before I go down to the allotment, I want to show you that the broad beans are flowering. There are the crimson flowered ones. And there are the super aqua dulce. And in fact, I've just noticed that there is a flower just there on the peas. These peas are looking a bit sad, to be honest. Starting to look a bit yellow. Perhaps they need a water or a feed. Okay, I'll do that. Okay, I don't think there's anything else exciting to show you here, so I'm going to get changed and then we're heading down to the plot. Okay, here we are at the plot, so I'll just show you what's been going on here over the bank holiday. Oh my goodness, look at the first early potatoes. Right, okay. So you saw me put in the second earlies, there they are. Ooh. Oh yeah, I also made this sort of path. So the arch for the pumpkins will go over there. That's the idea. Yeah, look at the first earlies now. They're all coming up. And the Red Duke of York on that side. Very good. This bed, still nothing. This bed, nothing. That's reserved for the pumpkins. I have half created a frame for the raspberries now. So I've put in the stakes. I've just got to put the wire across them. I also put in another raspberry that was kindly gifted by my cousin, which is the same ones that I have on the front garden. So that's in there. But these ones, which were the Polana, yeah, Polana ones, they are just sticks in the ground still, so that's a bit disappointing, but we won't give up hope yet. The full gold one looks amazing, and those are the Shagana ones which are alive. This bed, did I put anything new in here recently? No, I don't think so in terms of this side, but here is the Desiree potatoes, so that's one main crop. Here's the rest of the main crop, so we've got Cara there, Valor there, and Pink Fir Apple there, with just one Yukon Gold, which we're just going to see because that was from the supermarket, so we'll see what happens with that one. And then the Salad Blue that you saw me put in, and then the other big new addition to the plot is this climbing frame. So this is my nephew's old, not climbing frame, swing set. So the swing has come off, and it leaves a really good frame for climbing beans. So I need to put some chicken wire or twine and wire and stuff around it to create where the beans can hold on to. But yeah, in terms of a structure, I think that looks great. Mark brought it down for me. I did think he might want it for his plot, but he said no, so I've got it. And I don't think you've seen this before, which is an old bed frame from my mum's house. So we pulled off all the, it was a divan, so pulled off all the material, and that's left what I think is a quite good frame, which I can staple net to, and then it can be something to go over anything that needs protecting from the birds. So yeah, I think that's everything that's new. So Dory's just checking out what I brought down. Oh no, she's trying to eat the couch grass. Don't eat that. Go on. So I brought down the comfrey that I took cuttings from, and you can see it's all very healthy and lush. So I want to put that in some place, and then I've got the little one that I did the other day as well, but that's going to Mom's house. Yeah, so while I wait for Mark, I think I'll just put those comfreys in, and yeah, that's, well, I mean, there's a lot to do over here. It's gone kind of mad. How much sticky weed. But I think I'm going to try and tackle that next weekend, next bank holiday. Okay. Well, I hope Mark's not going to stand me up now. It's quite busy down here actually. There's quite a few people working away. Now is the time, May. Loads to do. But I'm super glad I got all my potatoes in now. What I have got left to put somewhere though is the ochre. That's been chitting on the windowsill. That's the last thing on the windowsill. So I think I'm going to put that in one of the beds at home though. Oh, here's Mark. Here he comes. So just while he parks up, I'll show you what it is that we're going to be digging out. So here are the saskatoon bushes, but I mean they're enormous and they're in flower, so it's probably not the best time to be moving them, but hey ho. I think they smell nice too, although there is a bonfire going on here. And this is the jostaberry, the mama plant, so I'm very keen on that one. Whew. Right, Mark's just gone. We've done over half, I would say, in a really short amount of time. But it turns out the saskatoon kind of come up as single canes, mostly. So we've taken out, yeah, I was saying half, but I think that is at least 2/3. So just got these ones left. There are about 4 clumps there to take out later in the week. So I'll show you what we've got. We've got the jostaberry. So that's in the bucket just there. There we go. That came out as an enormous plant with big roots on. We had to cut some of the roots, so hopefully that'll be okay. Dory, it's already got blossom on. So, but I, you know, we're going to be sacrificing fruit this year on that, I should think. In terms of the saskatoons, here's 3 big clumps in the wheelbarrow, and I think there's a smaller one in there as well. Then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 canes in there. There's a noisy dog who wants to go for a walk and doesn't understand why we only walk to the allotment. And then I think there's 2 big clumps in there as well. So Mark and I are sharing these between us. One of the thoughts is to do a whole row of them along there. Now Jim says they need to go shush Dory in a wet place where no, pretty much everything's wet on this plot, but this is particularly wet, but so are these sides of my plot, so I think I might put some also along here. But yeah, exciting. I've just dug a hole because I want to get the jostaberry in. I think the saskatoons will have to wait. They can just sit in the bucket of water for a while. But I've just dug this enormous hole to try and put the jostaberry in there. Yeah, oh, I do hope it survives. Anyway, this is in the bed with the plum tree and the other berry plants, the kind of perennial bed. And what I did notice as I was digging is here's where the horseradish is, and I think that might be it, potentially. I mean, it could be more volunteer potatoes, but yeah, we'll see. Ooh. Right, so I'm going to try and get that jostaberry in now then. See if I can carry it. Well, I can't tell you how happy I am to have that in the ground, to have that plant. So, as I said earlier, I've got one of its babies at home. I'll show you when we go back. But here is the mama, and yeah, I think inheriting a plot that had nothing on it at all, you know, it was just completely bare except for those leeks and the wallflowers. So there were no already established perennials that you were inheriting. So to get the trees in and to get the berry bushes in, and now this huge established plant, which hopefully will survive its transplant. Please all keep your fingers crossed for me, because I am loving it. I think I have to prepare myself that it's going to start to look a bit sad after the transplant, but I've given it 3 watering cans of water. So please do your best, little jostaberry, do your best. One bit snapped off, so I just stuck it in the ground there. If this one fails, maybe that one will take. It just seemed like it's fairly easy to propagate from then, if Jim's been doing that. He said this is the mama plant for all his propagations. While we're talking about plants that I've transplanted from other people on the allotment, here is the rhubarb that I transplanted. I think I showed it you not long ago because I said I took the flowers off. It is looking a little bit worse for wear, but you know, again, when things are transplanted, that does tend to happen. It wasn't like I was thinking I was going to get any rhubarb from it this year, but yeah, I've still got high hopes for it. We'll see. Maybe I'll give it a water. Oh, it has got some ants in there. And hello, Buzzy Bee. Oh, scared him off. Right, I can't leave this dog any longer. She's not been very patient, or she's been barking since we got here. So I'm going to leave all these saskatoons just in the water and hope that they'll be fine. I mean, the thing with saskatoon is that they want to be wet, so they certainly are in there. So I've been using bits of slate. So there was quite a bit of slate, old tiles at the back of my garden, and then Mark had a whole pile in the front of his house. So I've been smashing it up to make labels for the allotment, and I've been putting them in the home garden as well. I think they look really good. You can't just write on them, I don't think, with normal chalk pen, because that would come off in the rain. But I'm using a Posco pen, and they are permanent, so hopefully they should stay on. Now what I've got to put on is my peas. So I forgot to say earlier that at the weekend I also planted peas all along here. So between the first earlies and the second earlies. So here we've got P onward. There we go. And starting at this bit, we've got P early onward. There we go. So as the first earlies come out, the early onward perhaps will be coming up and ready to go out, and then that whole bed can go over to something else, and then the second earlies and the onward perhaps will finish together. I have no idea, perhaps not. Perhaps peas are the worst thing to put with potatoes. I have no idea. What's this one? Oh, okay. This is for that blackcurrant from my Auntie Susan, which I'd forgot to make a label for. Look, everything's got their labels here. In fact, it looks a bit like a graveyard, doesn't it? Oh, I hadn't thought of that. They do look like headstones. Is that anticipating that everything here will die? Because actually, this poor blackcurrant does look a bit dead, to be honest. Nothing seems to be going on very much. Oh well, we'll give it a chance. Let's get that in the ground. Oh, the ground is so tough. That might be the cardboard though. There we go. I have noticed there are lots of ladybirds on the plot. That's good, isn't it? Off you go. Go have some babies so they can eat aphids later. Right, the last thing I'll show you before we go is, here are the patches where I put the coriander seed that I found in Mark's shed, and it's all coming up, so that's cool. And some more over here, and some more this side by the broad beans as well. So other things that are coming up on the other beds, I'm not sure if they're the cover crop that I sprinkled or just weeds. Really don't know. But these bits I do know are the coriander, so that's really cool. Are these broad beans flowering? Yes, they are. Flowers. On there. Oh, also some weeds. The garlic, onion and shallot bed has got really quite weedy. So I need to get in there and do that at some point. The tips of those are looking a bit yellow. Well, I hope it's not, what is it they get? Rust? I hope it's not that. Oh well, they're doing their thing. Right. Oh, exhausted. Let's go walk a dog. And that is day done.